Well, as I promised before, we're going to do some tasting and some cooking. And today we've got a great opportunity. We're here at Pita Jungle in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm here with Chef Cassidy. How are you today?
Very good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So you're going to be doing some cooking. What is it?
Yes, we're going to start out by doing a gambas dish or shrimp that's using some fresh shrimp, some cilantro, tomatoes, some spices. Just a really fresh dish for the summer times.
Fresh dish. I keep hearing fresh. Why is that so important when we're talking about healthy food and eating?
Well, health starts with really fresh ingredients that preserve a lot of the nutrients that the food has. Here at Pita Jungle, we believe in using lots of raw ingredients and minimal cooking, so really simple preparation. With that, it preserves a lot of the nutrients that are in all of the vegetables, in the meats. We're not cooking the shrimp for too long, and it's just going to taste really great. It's easy to make, and it's really healthy.
Easy to make. Really?
Easy to make.
You're going to show us that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've heard a lot about shrimp. I love shrimp, don't get me wrong, but what's the deal? It's got too much cholesterol. That's what I always hear.
Right, right. A lot of people are worried about the high cholesterol in shrimp, but it actually has really low saturated fats. And even though it has a high cholesterol, it actually has a greater amount of the good cholesterol that we need in our body versus the bad cholesterol. Bad cholesterol is what clogs the arteries, but good cholesterol actually takes the cholesterol down to the pancreas and allows it to pull out of the bloodstream. So in reality, even though you're eating shrimp with a high cholesterol count, you're actually lowering your cholesterol at the same time because of that difference of good and bad cholesterol.
That's good to know. I'll eat more shrimp. That's great. So let's see, what other items you have here? You have garlic. Oh, we all love garlic. What's really important with garlic then?
Garlic's fantastic for your heart. It as well helps to lower high cholesterol count. It helps to clean out your arteries. It helps to, in some cases, even help with your immunity. A lot of people think that it helps with your colds. Anytime that you have any sort of ailment, they say garlic, eat some garlic. It's going to really help you get rid of any sort of ailment that you have.
Yeah, we hear a lot about that. A lot of things over the years, vampires, a whole bunch of things. So,
right.
But garlic's good for us. So you're going to show us how to make this,
right?
And show us how simple it is, right?
Exactly.
Well, let's go. I'd like to see this.
Okay, no problem. We're going to start here by seasoning our shrimp. So we're going to take a little salt here, just sprinkle it on, do some pepper, and then we're going to use a lot of this paprika. This is sort of our main spice that we're going to be using in this gambas dish.
Paprika.
Paprika. And then we're going to flip the shrimp over, do the same thing to the other side. Go. Doing our salt. You just want to get this really rubbed in so that it starts taking on these flavors of all of the spices. And then we're going to come over here.
All right.
Putting this on a low heat to start this process. We're actually going to put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to start out.
Olive oil, no butter.
No butter, starting with this olive oil, really great for the heart. It also has a lot of vitamin E. Doing that 2 tablespoons of the garlic. Just going to spread this around a little bit. And then we're doing a nice big handful of this cilantro. And some people think cilantro has sort of this overpowering flavor to it, but as we're going to simmer this down, it's actually going to sort of release some of those strong flavors, and it becomes more of an aromatic addition to the dish. So less of a taste, more of a smell. But since the two are so interrelated, it really helps to make the dish have a complete flavor to it. And we're actually just going to keep cooking this garlic and cilantro till it forms sort of a paste.
Okay.
And then that's what's going to be sticking to our protein, our shrimp today.
So this is something we could do at home. Simple, anybody can get this, right?
Yeah. As long as you are able to go to the store, buy your fresh ingredients, that's really all you need to do, is just end up at the supermarket, go through the produce aisle, and just anything that you like. Think about shopping color of the rainbow, right? If you get some greens, some reds, some oranges, that's the best way to do your shopping. Lots of colors. And as we're doing this, we don't want the garlic to get too brown. It's going to start burning it. So you just want to keep moving it around a little bit, not letting it sit too high and sit too long. And again, you're using a lower heat so that you aren't charring it too early.
So that's the important part. Not too much heat, because I overcook. I
Right.
admit it. So a nice simmer.
Exactly,
Okay.
a nice simmer. Yeah, everybody likes to use a medium-high setting because they want their food to be done quicker, but in reality, you're just sort of charring the outside and not letting it, the heat sort of dissipate through it. So we're just gonna let this simmer for a little bit longer.
So then again, we're still talking about less cooking, more fresh vegetables, meats, everything.
Cook a few more seconds. We're gonna get this shrimp going over here. Just sliding it in here.
Looks good. Looks very good.
And we're gonna place these out so that they're on one side of the shrimp. You don't want the shrimp all piled up because then they're not gonna cook evenly for each of the shrimp. So we're just gonna spread these out in our pan.
So then again, with shrimp, I have cooked shrimp before. It doesn't take
Right.
that long.
No.
It's a real easy dish to make.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and specifically with this low heat, it might take a little bit longer to cook than say if you were just trying to flash it really quickly. But we're just going to set it on one side, and since they're all evenly spread out, we shouldn't be waiting too long till they're ready to go.
Well, how do you know when, for example, a shrimp is done?
Well, you're going to base it mostly on color. So as we're waiting here, you can go and say you have to go do your salad. So you could just leave the stovetop for just a few minutes, maybe chop a tomato or two, and then you can come back. Check out the color. When it starts to turn a little bit pink, you're going to flip it to the other side. And really, it's only about 1 to 2 minutes for each side. So
Anything I can help you with? I feel like I'm not helping here. I feel like I'm just hanging out, you know? And I don't like doing that. I like being part of it. So
No, like I said, if we have everything chopped today, but
otherwise you'd have made me work, right?
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
good.
Otherwise,
As
I'd
long
have
as
you
I
over
know
there
that.
on the tomato. But if you're doing this from scratch at home, you probably don't have everything pre-chopped that you got at the store. So like I said, once we put the shrimp in, we can come over here, we dice up our tomato, and then by the time we got back, we'd probably be ready to go. So these are starting to, they're not
Oh, I see
transparent
that.
anymore, right?
I
So we're
see
gonna
that.
start flipping these over, just one by one. Keeping it on this low heat. Here we go. And you don't even have to do any of that fancy chef flipping or anything. Just flip them over one by one, and that's completely fine.
That's just for show. Is that what
Exactly.
you're telling me?
And then we've got our diced tomatoes. We're just gonna pour these in here. And we're gonna let
Fresh
this
again,
simmer down.
fresh.
Exactly. Fresh tomatoes. We're just gonna pour those in there.
That looks very, very
You
good.
can use Roma, beefsteak, whatever you like. And these are gonna start to sweat. Or just start to release some of the liquid that's inside of them. And then we're gonna be able to pull it over onto the higher heat because it's sort of protected, the meat's protected by all of that juice that's coming out of the tomatoes.
So why would you put it on the high heat? What's the...
Well, as we said, we don't wanna char the shrimp. We wanna keep them from browning too much. So when they're just in here with the olive oil and the cilantro and garlic, they're really close to the heat, so you want to keep it on low. But now that they sort of have sort of a liquid base going on, we're going to let this simmer for a few more minutes, and then it can continue cooking without charring.
I'm getting very hungry, just so you know.
And I'm going to transfer this over to the high heat. Again, our shrimp are getting done, and we're just going to let these tomatoes simmer down just a little bit more. They're going to be a little bit in between your raw, and then you don't want them like a canned tomato.
Gotcha.
So you're just going to be looking for them to maintain their shape, but again, they're releasing a lot of their liquids.
I'm learning a lot.
Because vegetables have quite a bit of water that's stored inside them, so when you cook a lot of vegetables, it'll add a lot more liquid than you had before you put the vegetable in it. All right, and we are all set.
Wow.
So we are going to add a little bit of lemon juice right on top. And grab our plate. Nice simmering dish. Throw it on there.
Now that's a nice meal.
And we've got our gambas.
Voila. Now that
We've got our
looks
great
good.
shrimp dish.
Sure do. I think I'm going to stay here and eat some. That's what I'm going to do. Well, Well, I'd like to thank you, Cassie. This is
Thank you
wonderful.
so much.
A lot of information.
Right.
A lot to take in. I'd like to thank PETA Jungle. And if you want more information about PETA Jungle, PETAJungle.com. Go to their webpage and check it out.